start with a word of prayer. Yahweh, who art God alone, as we come before you on your holy Sabbath day, please justify us, cleanse our minds from any wrong values and wrong ideas. Please help us to forget the troubles of the past week and help us to focus on your holiness. Help us to abide in truth. Help us to be conscious of abiding in truth and enjoy ourselves in truth on your Sabbath day. As we are about to do our into Revelation 15 study, help us to learn principles of truth. Help us prepare us to face the events that is quickly coming. Be with us and be with all the brethren around the world. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. So, just recapping, last week coming moving on. Today we're doing the divisions of Revelation. The divisions of Revelation chapter 15. But last week, we looked at what was the importance of Revelation 13. We found out that Revelation 13 is a continuation of the war that happened in heaven. In heaven, Isaiah chapter 14 identifies that Lucifer wanted to be poured with gold, right? And last week we learned that Revelation 13 is a continuation of that war that happened in heaven. In chapter 12 and 17 it identifies that the dragon was brought to the woman and went to make war with the remnants of her seed. So that war in Revelation chapter 12 and 17, where Satan is fighting against the remnants of her seed, or the last remaining followers of Christ. That war is the things that war contains is in Revelation chapter 13. We also learn that Revelation chapter 13 is the central chapter of the book of Revelation. Right? Because it is the continuation of the war that happened in heaven. Right? Next chapter. We also learn that in Revelation 13, God tells us the weapons that Satan uses in this war that he is carrying out, right? We saw the weapons as the beast, the image of the beast, the lamb-like beast, and they identify as Antichrist institution. He also used spiritualism, which is miracles, the mark of the beast, and everybody on the earth who accept the mark of the beast. Right? Yes. We also saw that Satan uses those weapons because through the image of the beast gain worship, he gets everybody to worship the image of the beast. So the image of the beast gain worship, he is exalted as God with God. So the beast gets worship, he is exalted as God with God. So the same war that he started in heaven, he is using all these weapons, the beast, the image of the beast, the mark of the beast. He is using all these weapons so that he could be exalted as God with God. Right?
Question.
Yeah. No. As we continue with the study, we will identify what is the image of the beast and the beast, right? But this is what we covered last week. No, it's not the same thing. The beast is the papacy. We will see that in further studies. The image of the beast is a type of constitution that will be put, right? Well, these are the stories last week. This is the Vatican photograph, and there's a dragon in the middle of it. That's just to show the devil getting worship behind the papacy, right? Right. Last week we also saw that in worshiping the beast and his name, right, when you accept the mark of the beast, this requires you to break the commandments of God. And Satan uses a counterfeit Sabbath, which is Sunday exaltation, to do that. And And all this, Satan's seed is recognized, which is he is exalted as God with gold. So all those things black, right? We just browse into some more to the next one. So all in all, a summary, Revelation 13 is a continuation and culmination, which means it comes to a high point of the whole of Satan and heaven. We call on God reveals Satan's weapon or the instrument he uses, and Satan is still seeking to the word of God. All of this, he makes war with the commandments he can take. Went to that last week, right? So we're moving on. The divisions of Revelation chapter 13. Oh, sorry. Last week we also saw Revelation 13 climactic a global church of the kingdom, where Babylon and the Northern, which is Catholic and Paul's Protestant, will form a global type of church of the kingdom, where everybody in the world will give obedience to the table, right? And through that table is exalted as God will go. Right, so Revelation chapter 13 now. And today we have to exercise some thought, right? And we are going to be reading Revelation 13 a few times once we have the time, so we get familiar with it. So Revelation chapter 13 has two divisions. Revelation chapter 13 has two divisions. This is the first division. It is divided from verses 1 to 10 and verse 11 to 18. Verse 1 to 10 identifies the rise of the beast, the history of the beast, the nature of the beast, which is the hypocrisy. Right? 11 to 18 identifies the final events while salvation is still available, and also the role of the beast, its image, and the Lamb. So we're going to see all of that now, right? So, verses 1 to 10. I will start reading and the other readings come up. You will have to help, right? So, Revelation chapter 13 verses 1 to 10. It says, now I'm not going into exegeting or explaining the details in the scripture. We started off by doing a general reading just to see how the events are divided, right? So from verse 1 it says, so we are going to see the rise of the beast, the history of the beast, and the nature of the beast, what it is made up of, right? Verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. So far we clearly identified a beast rising up out of the sea. So verse 1 identifies the rise of the beast, how the beast came about, right? It also gives us some pictures of the beast. 7 heads, 10 horns, 10 crowns. We will go into those things later on. Right? So we see the rise of the beast and certain pictures of the beast. Right? Verse 2. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. So verse 2 describes the beast even further. It has the body of a leopard, the feet of a bear, mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, his seat, and great authority. So here it identifies the nature of the beast, what the beast is made up of, right? Verse 3. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. So again here it identifies something happening to the beast. So it is identifying history. So the things that happened to the beast, right? Verse 4. And they worshipped the dragon, which gives power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? Right? So again, verse 4 identifies the dragon getting worshipped behind this beast. This beast is getting worshipped, and behind this beast, the dragon is getting worshipped. So again, more things identified about the beast, the history, right? Verse 5. And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 14 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So verse 5 and verse 6 to 7, verse 5 to 7 identify the things that he do. He speaks blasphemy. He continues for 42 months. So that's the amount of time that he is prayed for. He make war against the saints, etc. Right? So again, history is identified, which we will go into in later studies. Verse 8. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the Lamb's book of life. In the book of life, of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an heir, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So from verse 1 to 10, we read about the rise of the beast. He rose up out of the sea. We are told about the nature of the beast. He has 7 heads, 10 horns, like a leopard, teeth of a bear, mouth of a lion, the dragon gave him his teeth, etc. And we saw it identifies the history of the beast, the things that the beast does. He gets worshipped, he gets wounded, he continues for a certain amount of time, 42 months. He blasphemes God, he persecutes the saints. So, Revelation 13, verses 1 to 10, that is part of the division, right? It identifies, it speaks about the first beast. From verse 11 to 18 now, let us see what 11 to 18 is about. And anybody can read from verse 11 to 18.
And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and his feet as a dragon. I saw it.
So here identifies another beast. So you see the need for the division. 1 to 10 talks about one specific beast. And then from verse 11 it starts talking about another beast. Heavy reading for the division, right? Continue.
And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had been wounded by a sword and did live for it.
So far here we see it is telling us the things that this other beast does. We are told he exercised the power of the first beast that was before him. We are told he caused the earth to So far, we are being told the role, we are being told about the image of the beast and the lamb like beast, right? And the role that this other beast plays, right?
And he has power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and force that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he called all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that has the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Right. So, again we have to told that this beast, this lamb-like beast, it makes an image to the beast. It calls the image to the beast to speak. And it calls people to worship this image of the beast, which is a sign of stone, right? And who doesn't worship the image of the beast, or who do not obey the image of the beast will be killed. And we are told that this lamb-like beast will cause everyone to receive a mark in their right hand and in their forehead, which we know as the mark of the beast. And then we are given a numerical riddle verse 18 to identify the first beast. So far we saw verse 1 to 10 identifies the first beast. It tells us how he rose. It gives us history. It describes the beast first. Mouth of a lion, feet of a bear, those things. Verse 11 to 18 introduces a new beast. This new beast is an lamb-like beast. And who doesn't worship the image of the beast, or who do not obey the image of the beast will be killed. And we are told that this lamb-like beast will cause everyone to receive a mark in their right hand and in their forehead, which we know as the mark of the beast. And then we are given a numerical riddle in verse 18 to identify the first beast. So far we saw verse 1 to 10 identifies the first beast. It tells us how he rose. It gives us history. It describes the beast first. The mouth of a lion, the feet of a bear, those things. Verse 11 to 18 introduces a new beast. This new beast is a lamb-like beast. It tells us the role of this beast, what he does. He makes fire come down from heaven. He deceives people to worship the beast, to make an image to the beast, to take the mark of the beast. So verse 11 to 18 identifies what this lamb-like beast does. And these events that we saw in 11 to 18 can be identified as the final event while salvation is available. It is the final event while salvation is available, because with these events, with the mark of the beast and the image of the beast, we saw that it is getting worshipped. And if you look at verse 4 in Revelation 13, you will see the dragon is being worshipped behind all of this. So these events is the final event while salvation is available, because it calls everybody to choose who you will worship. It calls everybody to choose who you will worship. Either you obey God or you worship the dragon along with the rest of the world. Right? Everybody following so far, right? If you don't understand, you're going over again. Right? Second division now. The second division of Revelation 13 is from verses 1 to 4. verse 5 to 10, and verses 11 to 18. And we will be going over again, right? We read the scriptures over and over again because if you want to understand Revelation 13, you have to get familiar with the verses, right? So, verse 1 to 4 identifies the history of the beast, a description, the history and description of the papacy from its rise to its wounding. So here we identify that the first beast is the papacy. You'll see that further on, right? But verses 1 to 4 identifies the history and description of the papacy from when it rose to when it was wounded, right? So we're reading from verse 1 to 4. Anybody else? Can read. And you can explain why you're reading, so you have to just read it out.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his head and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head a name of black. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the teeth of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him?
Right. So verse 1 to 4 identifies again the rise of the beast. He rose up out of the sea. He has 7 heads, he has 10 horns. He is like unto a leopard, like the feet of a bear, the mouth of a lion. And we are told the dragon gave him his teeth, his power, and great authority. And verse 3 identifies he was wounded. One of his heads were wounded. And it identifies that his deadly wound was healed. Verse 4 tells us they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. So again, verse 1 to 4 tells us about this first beast. How he rose, a description of the beast, its wounding, and its healing, right? The other part is from verse 5 to 10. Verse 5 to 10 identifies the wicked deeds of the papacy before it was wounded, right? So, it's like John gave there like an introduction. He's telling you about the beast. He describes how the beast rose, what he is like, what happened to him, and then he goes back in verse 5 and tells you more about what the beast does, right? The deeds of the beast, which is the papacy. So from verses 5 to 10.
So Revelation chapter 13, from verse 5 to verse 10, and it says, And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue 40 months. So one thing you see about this here is that this speaks a lot of blasphemous things, and it's going to rule for a period of time, which is shown to be 42 months, which when worked out you see it comes to 1,260 years. Then verse 6 says, And he opened his mouth in blaspheme against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given over all kingdoms, all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Now, I just want to comment on this little part here. Now, one of the things we see here, when of course it's actually explain as you go along, right? But one of the things we see here, and we know for a fact, is that when a person accepts Christ, their name enters into the Lamb's book of life. And here the Bible is showing us that we who have accepted Christ, our name is entered into the Lamb's book of life. But I always emphasize that one name entering into the Lamb's book of life is just the first thing. What has to be maintained is your sanctification. There is a continual simply living, dealing with yourself, because the name that's entering here doesn't mean that that will stop you from worshiping beasts. If you are not experiencing sanctification in a continuous way, which you know that is what sanctification is, it means when this system is enforced as law, then you will be in a lot of trouble. Right? But then, so by the grace of God, as we all continue to be sanctified, we have the encouragement to know that we will not worship the beast nor his image. Okay, but then it goes on. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So again, we see as saints, we must have a lot of patience, and we know that in dealing with ourselves, we will be patient with ourselves, as we deal with ourselves by the grace of God. And you know, we don't have to worship the image and the beast, and by the grace of God, we can be successful. But we know also that retribution is going to come upon them. Just as how they came to say, they're going to get retribution from God also. By which shows us that, right?
Right. So, from verses 5 to 10, we saw the wicked deeds of the papacy, the things that the papacy do. The persecution of the saints, blasphemy against God, all those things, right? So far, again, just in a general reading to see the division, the later studies will go into the details of the verses. So far, we saw verse 1 to 4, the history of the beast, the description of the beast, from its rise to its wounding and its healing. I didn't put the healing there, but you can put it in any more tab, right? From its rise to its wounding and healing. Verses 5 to 10 identify the wicked deeds of the papacy. All these things that the papacy do or this beast does, it is identified in verses 5 to 10. The last section is 11 to 18, and we're reading it again, right? 11 to 18. Anybody?
Revelation 15, verse 11 to 15, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and his face as a dragon. And he had decided all the power of the first beast before him, and caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was he. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he hath power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which hath been wounded by a sword, and did live. And he hath power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as do not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bound, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom, that him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of the man, and his number is 666.
So, verse 11 to 18 identifies, if you look at verse 11, you 11 to 18 identify what this other beast does. And in later studies, we will come to see that that second beast in America is the lamb-like horse. So we are told this lamb-like beast, which is America, we are told of all the things that he does. We are told he aids in the healing of this first beast that was wounded. We are told America, the second beast, the lamb-like beast, aids in the healing of this beast. How? We are told he calls fire down from heaven to deceive people. We call that spiritualism. We are told he calls fire down from heaven to deceive people and tell them we have to make an image to the first beast, or we have to make something that reflects the things that the first beast did. And we call that communism. The image of the beast, we call it communism. And we know communism, the principles of communism are what? Anti-right, anti-wrong. And religion comes from the word religion. So he does miracles, and we are told the miracle here is calling fire down from heaven. So, we are told America aids in the healing of the first beast by doing one, calling fire down from heaven, deceiving people, and telling them to make an image to the beast. An image is like a reflection. Stand in front of a mirror, you have a reflection of you. An image to the first beast. How could America make an image to reflect the first beast before him? It means he would have to practice the same things that the first beast does. And the first beast, which is the papacy, it had a communism type of government as a church, right? Their principles was anti-rights and freedom. They believe liberty of conscience. They have to determine what you believe. So you have no freedom of conscience. That is what the Catholic Church did. They believe they have to determine what you believe. They have to determine the doctrine. They have the right to do away with the law of God, which we know the change Sabbath to Sunday. So the Catholic Church have a government which is anti-rights and freedom. And also it is a religion. Hence the word communism. But we are told that America sets up this communism. They call fire down from heaven, so obviously they're trying to make people believe that, okay, God wants this, and they are telling everybody to make an image to the beast or reflect the things that the first beast does. Because remember, from verses 1 to 10 it identifies that the first beast persecutes the saints of God. And this first beast is getting worshipped. So it is a religious beast, right? But the point is, verse 11 to 18 identify how America aids in healing this first beast that was wounded. It does spiritualism. It sets up an image to the beast, which we call it communism. We don't understand it further studies. And it enforces a mark of the beast, which everyone has to receive in their right hand or in their forehead, symbolically speaking, not literally, right? So far, we saw Revelation chapter 13. Revelation chapter 13 has two major divisions. The first division is from verse 1 to 10, which identifies the rise of the beast, the history of the beast, the nature of the beast. Verse 11 to 18 identifies all the events. We call it the final events why salvation is still available. Because in these events, you have to choose if you would worship the beast also would worship God. 11 to 18 identifies the role of the beast, the lamb-like beast, its image, right? It identifies the second beast, the lamb-like beast. It identifies the role, everything it does, the role of the beast, the image of the beast, and all these things. So that is the first division of Revelation 13. Again, verse 1 to 10 identifies the first beast and everything he does. Verse 11 to 18 identifies the second beast and everything he does. Simple? Right. The second division. The second division is verses 1 to 4. We saw verse 1 to 4 identifying the history of the beast and the description of the beast. He rose up out of the sea. He has a mouth of a lion, feet of a bear, etc. We are told that beast gets a wound and it was sealed. So that is the first division, that is the first section, right? That is the second division. Verse 5 to 11 goes on to tell us all the things, the wicked deeds that this beast does. Right? And verse 11 to 18, verses 11 to 18 identifies a second beast, a lamb-like beast, which is America. We are told that America aids in the healing of the first beast. Right? By using spiritualism, which is miracles, making an image to the first beast, called communism, and it enforces the mark of the beast. Everybody following so far, right? Don't worry about the details, and later we'll go into the details of the scripture. We just get familiar with the verses, put it in section. So later we'll go into all the details, right? So moving on. Next chapter. Right. Now if you notice in Revelation chapter 13, from verses 1 to 10, certain scriptures may seem a bit mixed up. So, I'll explain as we go along, right? Let's start from verses 1 coming down again. Now we're going it over and over and over, and we have to get familiar with the verses. So from verse 1 again. I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns was 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth was the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. So far again we saw the rise of the beast and the description of the beast, what he is made up of. Verse 3 and 4 now. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, and who is able to make war with him? So verse 3 and 4 identify this beast got a wounding. And this wound was healed. And we are told when this wound was healed, all the world wondered after the beast. Right? So, verses 5 now coming down. It says, And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue what? 40 and 2 months. Now, remember in verse 3 and 4 we are told this beast was wounded and he was healed. But then verse 5 coming down tells us he continues 40 and 2 months. Verse 6 and 7 identifies he makes war. Rather against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given unto him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So verse 5 and 6 to 7 identify this beast continues 40 and 2 months. Right? And in this 40 and 2 months, he blasphemed against God, against his tabernacle, against them that dwell in heaven. Verse 7 identifies he makes war with the saints. Right, so from verses 1 to 4, we are told about this beast. We are told he rose up out of the sea, the description of the beast, and then we are told this beast got a wounded and it was healed. And then verse 5 to 7 comes and tells us he continues 42 months and makes war with the saints. Now, the flow of events here, it may seem or may look as if the 42 months and the persecution of the saints happened after the wounding and healing. It would look like that when you read the verse coming down, right? But it is not so. Apparently, what John did, or what God decided to do, is just give a brief history of the beast and then start over from verse 5 and explain certain things that the beast does. So the 40 and 2 months and the persecution of the saints doesn't happen after verse 3 and verse 4. Everybody following? Right. So we are told the paper continues 40 and 2 months. When is this 40 and 2 months? 42 months is also equal to 760 days. In the Bible, one day is how much? Yeah. In prophecy, right? In prophecy, a day is a year. So, this beast continues, we are told it continues 40 and 2 months, which is 1260 years. So, which is somewhere in reference? From 538. So when? 1798. When was the papacy wounded? In 1798. And we know that for 1260 years, papacy do what? Persecute the saints. Right? So verse 3 and verse 4 that identifies it gets a wounded and the dead wound was healed. And then verse 5 to 7 identifies continues for 40 and 2 months and makes war with the saints. Verse 5 to 7 just identifies what the papacy do before he was wounded. Following? So, we read verse 1 and 2. Verse 1 and 2 is an introductory history and nature of the papacy. Verse 5 to 8 identify the papacy wicked deeds. So it's like somebody giving you a story. Alright, somebody giving you a story with an introduction. And after this introduction from verses 1 to 4, he goes back and from verses 5 coming on, he goes back now to give you detail what the papacy does. So verses 5 and verse 5 to 7 where it says he continues 40 and 2 months and persecute the saints. It doesn't happen after the wounding and healing in verse 3. Right?
Why 5:38? What about 5:38?
In 5:38, what happened in 5:38? In 5:38, we know that the paper C got what? Paper C got civil authority over the laws of the land, right? So, we know it from Emperor Justinian, but again, all we want to go into the details, we're going to that right and further study. But for now, in 538, Emperor Justinian gave the papacy civil authority over the laws of the land. So as a church, it wasn't just a church just existing like how we are church existing. They had a particular type of government, and a church, imagine, a church got authority over the laws of the land. So for during this period, the papacy had authority over the laws of the land, civil authority. And with that authority now, as a church, they use the government, they use the law to persecute God's things, to make the things of God criminal, and they persecute it. And in 1798, it was wounded because this civil authority was taken away. Right? ACB, we use the term ACB, it means after Christ's birth. Right? Sorry? Oh, BCB is before Christ's birth. So anytime we have this, let me talk about 616 BCB, right? So that's just a year, right? BCB is before Christ was born. So this is the year before Christ was born on the earth as a man, right? And ACB would be the year after Christ was born. So right now we are in 2017 ACB, after Christ was born, right? So
it's important to make the distinction because of the fact that I think it's important to make the distinction between, let's say, BC, before Christ, right? But when was that? Christ was always Christ. Christ was always there. I am. You understand? So BC is not an accurate term to identify certain period of history. So it says before Christ's birth, before he was born. But before he was born, he existed. So to say BC, when is that? When is before Christ? And ACB after Christ's birth. So from his birth, time was divided from his birth. Before and after his birth. But Christ is God, which was always there for him.
I would just say, based upon the vision of the speaking just now, Revelation chapter 13, right? So then, would we say, if we say like, Revelation chapter 13, we read verse 1 and verse 2, and then we read 5 to 8, and as a flow, and then they come back now with the 3 now, showing where it is. All the way out there, man. Right.
Right, so what I was now pointing out where it might seem like it's mixing up the event. And then we would read it according to the flow of the event. So again, verse 3 and verse 4 identify the wounding and healing of the papacy. And then verse 5 to 8 identify how long the papacy ruled for. Sorry. And the persecution of the saints. And I show that the persecution of the saints and the continuing for 42 months does not happen after verse 3 and verse 4 where it says the papacy was wounded and got healed. So if you want to connect the events in your mind, this is how you have to read it. So first you have to read verse 1 and 2. Let us read it. Verse 1 and verse 2 says, I stood upon the standard of the sea. And I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his head the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, his teeth, and what? Greater courage. So verse 1 and verse 2 identify, it gives us a history, an introductory history of the rise of the beast and the nature of the beast. Right? So have that image in your mind. Verse 1 and verse 2 gives you an introductory history and the nature of the beast. So get a flow from that now. You jump to verse 5 to 8. Just to get a flow of the event. Verses 5 to 8. It continues. It says, and there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things, and blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue a month, 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given unto him over all kindreds, and tongues, and nations. And all that dwell on the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Right? So that is from verses 5 to 8. So verse 1 and 2 give you an introductory history, an introduction. This is the beast, this is how he rules, this is what he's made up of. Verse 5 to 8 told you his deed. This is what the beast does. He continues 42 months. He blasphemes against God. He persecutes the faith. Verse 10 now. Continuing with the flow of events. Verse 10. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Now, he that leadeth into captivity and goes into captivity here, obviously talking about the beast, because verse 1 coming on talking about the beast. And it's the beast who persecuted the saints. So, verse 10 identifies the retribution on the beast. He made into captivity the saints all the time, he persecuted the saints all the time. He will go into captivity now. He will be killed with the sword now. He will get a wounded. So verse 10 identifies what? The wounding identifies what? The wounding of the table thief. So the flow of events in your mind should be verse 1 and 2, the history of the beast, what is it made up of? Verse 5 to 8, what this beast does, his wicked deeds. And verse 10, the wounding of this beast. Right? Now you can go back to verse 3 and 4. The event in verse 3 and 4 happened last, right? Verse 3 and 4, it says, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. That is what we saw in verse 10. He that goes into captivity, he that killed with his sword shall be killed with his sword. So verse 3 further identifies that this captivity and killing with the sword here is a wounding that this beast gets, right? And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And it continues. And his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So, for a connective flow of events. So, verse 3 and verse 4, the events identified there, if you understand what I'm saying, it kind of goes black because all the world, the wound of the beast is not healed yet. Right? So, the healing and all the world running after the beast happened last. Right? So, we're moving on. central verse in Revelation chapter 13 is verse 10. It is the central or the major verse in Revelation 13. How? Because one, it tells us about the retribution on the papacy, and two, it tells us it is a divine commendation of the endurance of the saints during both periods of the persecution. But the first part, look at verse 10, read it again. It says, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. So the first part of verse 10 identifies retribution on the papacy. Now this has to be one of the major points in Revelation 13. Because Revelation 13 surrounds the papacy and everything he does. America aiding and healing the papacy. The devil is getting worship behind the papacy. So this retribution on the papacy is something major, because this is like the main instrument Satan uses to push his claim to be God with God and to persecute the saints who is showing that no, God is God alone, right? So verse 10 identifies retribution on this beast. The last part of verse 10, it says, here is the patience or the endurance of and the faith of the saints. This here is a divine commendation from God, right? And the patience and faith of the saints here, the endurance of the saints, is the endurance during both periods of the persecution. Both periods meaning before the papacy was wounded for the 1260 years, from 538 to 1798, the papacy persecutes not hundreds, not thousands, millions, for 1260 years. Saints who wanted to follow the Bible and the Bible only, right, and not the principles of the Catholic Church. So from 538 to 1798, this is what we call the first period of persecution. And here God is commending the saints for enduring and keeping the faith during that period of persecution. The next period of persecution will come in the very near future, when the wound would be healed. And that persecution is identified in the second division of Revelation 13, which is from 11 to 18. We are told that they will be killed. They wouldn't be able to buy and sell, all these things. So when God says, here is the patience and faith of the saints, he is given a divine what? Commendation on the endurance of the saints during the both periods, before 1798 and after 1798, right? So, recapping, go back to the first chapter. Recapping again before we move on the last point, right? Again, Revelation chapter 13 has two major divisions. From verses 1 to 10 tells us about the rise, the history, and the nature of the beast. From verses 11 to 18 tells us what? The final events, why salvation is available. Because in these events, they will see all the world will worship the dragon who gave the beast his power. And we are told the role of the beast, the image of the beast, the lamb-like beast, and all these things, right? Yes, sir.
Could you explain how Revelation 13 is the central point of the Bible? Is Revelation 13 the central point of the Bible? Or is it just the central point of Revelation?
That's a nice question. I would answer it this way. I would say Revelation 13 is the central point of the Bible, Because the whole Bible is the history of the earth. And Revelation chapter 13 is like the final culmination of the whole war that started in heaven. It continued with Eve. Satan came and gave her the same argument: you shall be as God, knowing good and evil. And right through the history of the earth, Satan has been persecuting God's people, who have been showing that God is God alone. So Revelation 13 is like the climax or the high point of that whole war that started in heaven. Right? So, this is the first division, 1 to 10 and 11 to 18. The second division, sorry.
Yeah, morning. I just wanted to say too that when you look at the book of Revelation, it speaks about everything in summary. In terms of it speaking about Lucifer being thrown out of heaven, so it starts from the beginning. And then it shows what is going to happen in the end in terms of the saints, receiving the kingdom. So it speaks about everything. You understand? So you could say it is a synopsis of the whole Bible in there. You understand? And it speaks about the most important points so that Christians in these last days will know how to serve and how to trust Him to overcome all the temptations that may be coming to self, that we may be able to be saved. Because what it speaks about is the only book, I think, that says, blessed is he that readeth and doeth and heareth the things. You understand? So look how it starts with, blessed is he that understands and reads this book of Revelation. I don't think any other book says that. You understand? So it shows how important it is for the saints in these last days. It shows the past, it shows the present, and it shows what's going to happen in the future if we choose to show that God is God alone. Right?
And also, there's yes,
Just one thing. Sister White said this statement in Acts of the Apostles, right? It says all the books of the Bible meet and end in the book of Revelation.
Yes.
So if in the book of Revelation chapter 13, in the high point, it will be us. That's the thing. Right?
And
Actually, there's a point of clarity. So the first brother started with is Revelation 13, the most important part of the Bible. And so now we're on to is the book, the most important part of the Bible. So just to clarify for posterity, chapter or book.
right. So
Because you can have two different answers going chapter or book.
right. So here's what, right? But I try not to say something.
Here's I understand.
Right.
But we started with chapter, now we're on to the book. So just for clarification.
Right. The whole book of Revelation, look at verse 1. Chapter 1, sorry, verse 1. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 1. It says, the revelation of Jesus, which God gave unto him to show unto his servants things which must what? Shortly come to pass. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John. The point of reading this verse is to show the book of Revelation. Now, Jesus is speaking to John here, right? So, at this point in time in the earth's history, John was around what, 90 years after Christ. So here, John is being told that every 10 years after, in the book of Revelation, identifies the things which would come to pass from John's time to the end of the world. So, the book of Revelation identifies the events that happens from John's time straight down to the end of the world. If you want to understand what Revelation is about. No. I know, I just start coming up to the point, right? So, in chapter 13 is like, chapter 13 is the central chapter of that book. Because the events in chapter 13 is the continuation of the war that started in heaven. If you from Revelation chapter 1 to 12, all the events leads up to the events in 13. And from 14, go straight up to the end, all those events happen because of the events in Revelation 13. Right? And so, the answer to what he asked at first is that Revelation 13 is the high point or the climax of all the events you could read in the Bible. Satan started, he brought his argument in Genesis. All the events in the Bible is a war on God's people, and it comes to a high point in Revelation 13 with the last remaining followers of Christ. Right.
Yes, my little contribution is that I think the sister mind is very sharp to pick up the pointed question that was asked. And she's right by saying, originally the question was not concerning the book of Revelation. It was concerning the chapter, Revelation chapter 13. But in the exposition, he showed where Revelation 13 is an explanation of the war, of the dragon's war against the remnant church. Revelation 13 is an explanation of that war. But the question switched now to the central theme of the Bible. I would go for John 3:16 if you ask me, in the second witness, and in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 and 14, in the first witness. If you ask me what is the central text of the second witness, the New Testament, I will say John 3:16. But when we come into the book of Revelation, chapter 13, is a explanation about the great war, the dragon's war against the church. So I think the sister mind is very sharp to pick up the difference in the question. You know, sometimes you ask a question, you say, you ask a question that is pertaining to the sun, and somebody answer in Mars, or somebody answer in some other planet. Right? While the answers given by the other brethren was true. Right? But the sister mind, for me, was very sharp to pick up the pointed question that was asked.
Right. So, sister,
He answered what I was asked.
very
And I
nice.
would go John 3:16 as the most important fact for the Bible.
It's very nice.
That, yeah.
Very nice. Your mind will pay attention. Hope to see you more often. So, the second division, we saw verses 1 to 4, gives the history and description of the papacy from its rise to its wounding and to its healing. And then put that part in the chart, right? Verses 5 to 10 identifies the wicked deeds of the papacy before its wounding. And verses 11 to 18 tells us how the other beast, the second beast, which is America, aids in the healing of this first beast by using spiritualism in miracles, setting up the image of the beast, we call it communism, and enforcing the mark of the beast. Next one. Again, also we saw that from verses 1 to 10, verse 3 and 4, the events there, for someone who doesn't know, it might seem like, you know, it's a bit mixed up. So, for a flow of events, we have to read verse 1 and 2 first to see the introduction and history and the nature of the beast. Then we have to jump to verse 5 to 8 to tell us what this beast does, the wicked deeds. Then verses 10 to show that this beast, it was wounded. And then we go back to verse 3 and 4 that tells us the beast was wounded and it was healed and it was exalted, right? And then we also saw that verse 10 is the central verse in Revelation 13 because it identifies retribution on this papacy. Why is that so? Why we make that as a major point is because the papacy is the main instrument that Satan uses, and you will see that in verse 4 of Revelation 13, because it says, and they worship the dragon which gave power unto the beast. So that beast, which is the papacy, is the main instrument that Satan uses to push his arguments and exalt himself as God of God. So, verse 10 identifies that this instrument he uses, which is the papacy, it gets retribution for persecuting God's people. The latter part of verse 10 tells us here is the patience and the faith of the saints. It is a divine commendation on the endurance of the saints when they are persecuted. Right? So we'll just, the last part we'll go into is verses 11 to 18 now. Verses 11 to 18 can be divided into these following parts. Verse 11 to 12, 13 and 14, 15 to 17, and verse 18. So we're going to read that now, right? Verse 11 and 12, it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as what? A dragon. And he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and caused what? The earth and them that dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed." So verse 11 to 12 we saw what? A new beast speaks like a dragon and forces the world to worship the first beast identified in verses 1 to 10, right? So that 11 to 18 are to be divided into these parts here. And verse 11 to 12 tells us a new beast comes into the picture, which have lamb-like horns. He speaks like a dragon and forces the world to worship the first beast. Verse 13 and 14 now. Somebody can read that, please. Brother Kevin. Verse 13 and 14.
Revelation chapter 13, verses 13 and 14. And it reads, "And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had been wounded by the sword, and did live." So we see in the verses, the beast will be working miracles, but the miracle working power would come from the dragon. And the purpose of the miracles would be to deceive the people to give worship to the beast, which is really to worship the dragon.
Very nice. So we see verse 13 and 14, the American beast uses spiritualism, as the brother said, to deceive people to worship the dragons and to set up the image of the beast. Right? So first we see verse 11 and 12 identifies the beast. And it tells us he speaks as a dragon and causes the world to worship the first beast. Verse 13 and 14 tells us that this beast uses spiritualism, miracles. He calls fire down from heaven to deceive people and to set up the image of the beast.
Why would he use fire to do this miracle?
Why would he use fire? Why would that be a miracle? Well, okay.
God answered his prophets in the past by fire, when Elijah brought fire, testing fire.
Yes. So, first, fire wouldn't be the only miracles, right? But he would be doing all the other miracles. But why God identifies fire coming up from heaven here, God points out that specific miracle, is because this would be the miracle that they would be using to make people think, well, God wants this done. As the brother said in the past, with Elijah, with the 400 prophets of Baal, they gathered to see who is the true God, right? And the 400 prophets the dance, the cut of themselves, whole day the dancing and cutting of themselves, and apparently the God was sleeping, or he went for a walk. And when it was Elijah's turn, you know, God told him all what to do, and fire came down from heaven and consumed the sacrifice and drank all the water around the altar and all of that. So in the past, God answered with fire coming down from heaven to approve that the God of Elijah is the true God, right? Likewise, Satan will try to do the same thing, and to deceive people, to make people think God wants us to make this image, make the image of this beast, right? And that is how people will be deceived. You see, not every time a miracle happens means that the miracle is from God. We are told in Revelation 16, we are told demons working miracles, and they are doing it today in false churches. They're healing people. What would you do if somebody have a sick foot and in front of your eyes the foot is healed? Because they just believe, they join the religion because they work a miracle? No, not all miracles come from God. What they have to do, identify the doctrine. If they speak not according to the law and to the testimony, there is no light in them. So, no pastor could come and perform miracles. They could call fire down from heaven, but they will come and tell you the Sabbath is not to be kept. They will come and tell you, yes, making the image. They will come and tell you, you cannot live sin free. God puts His righteousness in your account in heaven, so everybody suddenly have like bank accounts in heaven. And all these false doctrine, but they're performing miracles. So how do you know? You have to investigate the doctrine. They have to be saying that the law of God has to be kept, which in the end here, they will be passing the image of the beast. They will be enforcing Sunday worship, and they will be telling you that the Sabbath is Sunday. They will call fire down from heaven and say, look, God wants you to keep Sunday. We want world peace, we want world unity. So what would you do? You have to judge. You must be speaking according to the law of God and according to the testimony of Christ, right? Yes. No.
Right, just one question was asked by Sister Linda, why fire? Now we have to remember what the sister is showing us is the war, the dragon war against the church. And the first witness, the Old Testament ends by a promise of God to His church in the last days. It says, I read in Malachi chapter 4, verse 5 and verse 6. This is how it ends. It said, behold, I will send you Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children and the hearts of the children to the fathers, lest I come and smite the earth with a curse. So this is our promise for the church in the last day, just before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord. The spirit of Elijah will be poured out upon the church. And as a result of the spirit of Elijah being poured out of the church, massive conversion will be taking place. Turning of the hearts of the father to the children and children to the father. Mass conversion. Now remember, the dragon is at war with the church. He went to make war with the remnant of the seed. How would he take that? He would use a fire to show that you are not the real Elijah, not the real Elijah yet. And using the fire that Elijah, the miracle that Elijah did. But as the sister rightly showed here, it is to deceive. His using the fire is to deceive. Our fire, the fire of Elijah, will be to convert people unto Yahweh.
And in the same Malachi chapter 4, verse 1 identifies the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, right? And so this is speaking about the last days, right? But look at verse 4. So while the devil is claiming to be the true Elijah calling fire down from heaven, verse 4 is what we have to tell him, right? It says, remember ye what? The law of Moses, my servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb, for all Israel with the statutes and judgments. So in the last days, while they remember what? The law, right? The law. So, sorry, yes.
One of them, right? Was feeling sorry for people who might. Those who are not being deceived by the beast, by the dragon like beast, right? Spiritualism. They didn't have to be deceived. It was because of not having a love for the truth. I read in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9. They didn't have to be deceived. You know, so you might feel sorry for God to get deceived by this thing. I mean, Elijah was doing anything that Elijah did after all. So there was innocently deceived. But it really was their fault. They didn't have a love for the truth. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they received not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness.
So, right, so the brother identified people that will be deceived because they didn't have a love for the truth. Right, and we see that many times when you go out on the missionary field and you're telling people, look, it's possible to live without sin. That's the whole purpose of Christianity. What's the point of going to a church? You was a smoker, you was a thief, a rapist. You're going to the church and they're telling you, well, you know, you really can't be sin-free. What's the sense? You're outside, is a criminal. Why they going inside to be what? A religious criminal, right? So the whole point of Christianity is the center point of the whole gospel is what? Justification, being made righteous, becoming sin-free. So we go out there and preach to people you can actually overcome your sin. You have a problem with thieving, you could overcome it. You have a problem with lying, you could overcome it. So, when some people just fight it down, they'll be like, no, you can't live sin-free, it's hard, and all kind of things.
Actually, I'd rather say God can make you sin-free.
Yes.
When you get sin-free, will overcome you.
Yes. So God is the one doing the work. You're not doing nothing to make yourself sin-free. God is the one making it sin-free. And you just get all kind of battles out there. You can't live sin-free, or it's like extreme and all kind of things. So it have people who, when you preach it to them, they don't want it. They don't want to give up their sins. And those are the kind of people that will be deceived with the miracles. And as the Bible says, he that thinketh he standeth, take heed lest he fall. So even some of us in here, if you have love for a particular idol, a particular value, and you don't deal with it, or allow God to change you, you and all will be in this group that will be worshiping this beast, right? So, yeah, this is the last time done. So, verse 11 and 12, we saw the new beast speaking like a dragon and forcing the world to worship the first beast. Verse 13 to 14, the American beast uses spiritualism to deceive people and set up the image of the beast. So the last 2 points we all know. Verse 15 to 17, and anybody could read that one? Maybe.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. Right, and this is the
15 to 17.
Okay, no problem. Right. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bound, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Right. So verse 15 and 17 tells us that the American beast causes the image of the beast to speak, enforces the mark of the beast, and we saw private property rights attacked, the rights attacked, right?
new beast speaks like a dragon, causes the world to worship the first beast. 13 to 14. The American beast uses spiritualism to deceive people and set up the image of the beast. And we now saw in 15 to 17, the American beast causes the image of the beast to speak. We understand all those things further on. And he enforces the mark of the beast, and we saw that your rights are attacked. The final verse is a numerical riddle to identify what is the first beast. Right? So verse 18, it says, here is wisdom. Let him that had understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 600, 66. And what number is that? 666. So this is a numerical riddle to identify who is the first beast. Right? So it says the number of the beast is the number of a man, and his number is 666. So we have to look for a man, and we have to look. We are being told, sorry, that the number of this man is 666. And the kind of man we're looking for is not Kid Rowley. This man is somebody religious. He's affiliated with the beast, yes. And the beast gets worship. So this is a religious man, right? Now, later, from next week, I believe, we will see how the beast is religious and who is the beast and all these things, right? But for now, this is the numerical riddle to identify this man that heads the beast, which is the Pope. The name of the Pope is what? The title. Vicarious Filii Dei. The title of his office, right? We don't name my Pope is Francis. We're talking about the name of the office that he holds. Vicarious Filii Dei. Now if you count this name in Roman numerals, V is 5, I is 1, C is 100, I is 1 again. They use the U as a V, so U is 5, and S is 0, so it comes to 112. Filii, F is 0, I is 1, L is 50, 1 and 1 again, so you get 53. D is 500, E is 0, I is 1, get 501. So you see, we're not only learning prophecies, we're learning maths. So 112 plus 53, I make a mistake here, sorry. Supposed to be 501, right? It's 666. So we identify, so we get wisdom. We identify this man, and his number is 666. Right? So that just gives you a riddle to identify the man who holds a certain office that heads this beast in Revelation 13, what that Satan uses to get worship. Vicarious Filii Dei also means substitute Christ, Christ on earth. The vicar of Christ, right? So the Pope claims to be Christ on earth. He claims that God is in heaven, but he is God on earth, right? So that is what that title there means. So whoever is in the office of the Pope, they are literally claiming to be God on earth. But the number of his name, when we count it, we get 666. So verse 18 is just a riddle to identify the office, right? So that is it there for today. Yes, Brother Cameron.
Just an interesting fact. Vicarious Filii Dei. There's another term that is used also, Vicarious Christi, right? And interesting enough, the Latin word vicar, the Greek equivalent to that word is the word anti. So Vicarious Christi literally in Greek would be Antichrist. Okay.
Very nice.
That's true.
Right. So,
This one to combine two texts here, right? And a very beautiful point that you showed last week. in 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11 and compare Revelation chapter 13 and verse 4. 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11 and I'm combining the Revelation chapter 13 and verse 4. Now Revelation 2 Corinthians 2:11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And when you compare that to Revelation 13 and verse 4, it says, and they worship the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worship the beast, saying, who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him. But when you combine the two scriptures together, you see beautifully, even as I explained last week, that God sell out Satan in your terms, right? And it is true, and it's a real benefit to us. Because when we look, as much as we see the Roman Catholic institution, many of these priests present themselves as they're so pious and they're so holy, you know, and they have a big church, they look all kind of real big shots as we go in there. When we look through the eyes of faith, we can see and understand that it's really the devil that is being worshipped through that system, while it presents itself as a Christian religious institution. It is really the devil. So whether we are educated that we are not deceived about it, so we are not fooled to think that this is some holy religious organization. The Bible clearly explains what we are dealing with, and God shows us what we are coming up against, and by grace of God, He gives us the graces to face it by faith and have victory. And also, I enjoy this study system.
Verse 16 says, right, I would just like to know what is the mark they receive in their right hand and in their forehead.
Verse 16?
In chapter 13.
It says that in verse 16 in Revelation 13, what is the mark in their right hand and in their foreheads? Now, we'll be going in these things in the further studies, but just quickly explain it because we have to close off. The mark of the beast, remember, the American beast is doing all these things. The image of the beast, miracles, all these things, causing people to worship the first beast. So the mark here would be the mark of the beast, right? Now, what is the mark, the first beast which is in paper C, right? What is the mark of the Roman Catholic Church? What is their sign of authority? Sunday exaltation. We have quotations with them. They themselves said they have the authority to change the law of God, right? And Sunday is an example of the fact that they have authority to change the law of God. They said that they changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. They transfer it, and that means that they have authority to change the law of God. That is their mark of authority. And they actually say that so-called Protestants who claim that they are Protestants, we are not Roman Catholics, we are Protestants. But they go in the church on a Sunday every Sunday. They do, and they fight against the Sabbath.
Still following them.
The Catholic Church does say that you Protestants, if they claim to follow the Bible and the Bible only, you have to keep the 7-day Sabbath. So Sunday is the mark or the sign of the Roman Catholic papacy, right? That is their sign of authority, right? So the mark there, when they say receiving it in your hand, it means that you will be obeying your works, right? You will be obeying when they pass the law of the land that you have, right? In your right hand means you obey, and in your forehead means you will be deceived, and you will be following, right? But we will go into those things further on, right? We have to close up. Yes, Brother Kevin.
Right. Just following this thought here out here about the exposing of this man of sin. He's exposed by his name. The sister was just mentioning Yeshua at the time. He said that he had power to change the Sabbath and so on. Daniel 7 tells that how that beast would claim to be able to change times and laws. this beast real exposed, right? We are told that this beast will be existing to the time before Christ comes in Thessalonians. You know that this beast will be dealing people worldwide, this worldwide persecution. It can't be this thing, you know, what Evangelist is trying to portray the beast says, that exposed, that can't be so at all, right? As a beast that's seeking worship. So it's worldwide worship, persecuted, world being persecuted, to give that beast worldwide worship. So the whole world is under that beast. The Bible tells us, when we read Revelation 13, it tells us that the whole world is being forced to worship the beast. So real exposure. We have the truth, we have it right.
Amen. Right, so from next week, please God, we will be going into the exegesis of Revelation chapter 13. We will be exegeting from verse 1, coming down. So we'll be getting to the 7 heads, right? So please let us close off with a word of prayer. Yahweh, who art God alone, thank you for the wonderful evidences that you have given unto us, you have revealed unto us. You have even given us specific details and events and the things that the devil will be using in the last days to claim that he is God with you. You have revealed it unto us so that we could be armed, we could be prepared, we could know what to look out for and prepare ourselves and testify that you are God alone. Please help us to apply these principles. Help us to live as if we are looking forward to these events and preparing ourselves for this battle. Be with us on your holy Sabbath day and help us to enjoy abiding in the truth. In Jesus' name I